Vasudevaya.
Om
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om Namo
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Okay, so we are reading from Nectar of Instruction. I'm discussing Nectar of Instruction, verse number 3. I'll explain it, no problem. So, verse number 3 is, what's that? 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗃 tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat satovritah sadbir bhakti vinashyati. Oh, prasiddhyati. Actually, I'm getting disturbed because of. I'm getting disturbed now. From where these children are here? I mean to say, what they are doing here? Why they are here? Excuse me, can you go out? Okay. There is stuff. Okay, so the whole point is, this verse is talking about 6 principles of devotion. I mean to say, how to practice devotion. And if you understand these 6 principles, you can practice devotion very nicely. But if you don't understand these 6 principles, then it will be more of a struggle than actually enjoyable activity. You'll be struggling. But devotion is all about love, loving God. But the point is, our struggle is with our mind and our nature. So how to make this journey smooth so that we don't get frustrated? We are not frustrated and depressed by this struggle of our whole mind, our reflexes, our whatever problems. We have so many problems in our life. We don't get depressed by that. We have to continue devotion, and not just one day, 2 day, whole life till the last breath. So what to do? So these principles will help. Okay, so the first principle is 𝗪𝗧ha. 𝗪𝗧ha means what? Enthusiasm. So enthusiasm is the life force of devotion. It is said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Srila Prabhupada also says, it's a life force of devotion. It's a life of devotion. Without enthusiasm, actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur even says, enthusiasm is a synonym of devotion. If you say, okay, I am doing devotion, but you're not enthusiastic to chant the holy names, enthusiastic to read Bhagavad Gita, enthusiastic to listen to saints, then it means you're just saying you want to do devotion, but you don't want. Am I right? It's common sense. It's common sense. I mean to say, anything it will work. Anything. I mean to say, you say, I like playing football so much. I like football playing so much, but at the same time, I'm not so enthusiastic to play. What's the meaning of that? It's crazy. So enthusiasm, if you like Krishna, you'll be enthusiastic. So, but the question is how to be enthusiastic moment by moment, day by day. That's a challenge. Because enthusiasm goes down. Am I right? Some days we are so enthusiastic to chant, to hear. Some days we are low. In America, there's a word downtime. You know this downtime? This is a word downtime, no? Downtime means when you're down, you don't feel like really chanting or reading. Maybe you're sick and mind is not so, isn't it? Or maybe you are depressed, something bad happens in your life, so you don't know what to do. You're not feeling so enthusiastic to go to programs, to listen to Krishna Katha. It happens to a lot of us, am I right? So at that time, what should we do? How should we maintain enthusiasm? Because God, Krishna doesn't want to see that we are enthusiastic. That's okay, He wants to see that. But more than that, what He wants to see is continuity. That's what he's looking for in everything. I mean to say, even in this material world, your boss doesn't want to see whether you are working or not. He wants to see whether you are working every day. You can't say, okay, I'll work for 2 days and like 24 hours I'll work 2 days. But then rest of the time I'll not work. You say, come on, you have to work daily. Everybody expects continuity. Even nature. Nature is continuous. Everything is continuous. Sky, clouds keep on moving, sun keeps on moving, moon keeps on moving. Isn't it? Day and night, everything keeps on going. Our bodily functions keeps on going. Krishna likes that, that means. And that's there in Bhagavatam. 𝗦𝗪𝗀𝗃. Devotion should be, 𝗦𝗪𝗃 means causeless, 𝗪𝗃 means every day. So every day you have to do some devotion. Don't do that one day you do so much, another day you do nothing. And then someday you do less, someday more. No. Do daily something. That brings effect. So how to do that? How to be enthusiastic? Every day, every moment. What to do? So Prabhupada says in the purport. And then we tell, enthusiasm comes from what? What is the trick to be enthusiastic?
Association.
In spite of all circumstances, in spite of all the problems in our life, association, okay, one thing is association of enthusiastic devotees. Okay, that will help you. But I'm looking for an answer which is universal, because sometimes you don't get association. And you know what happens? When you're depressed, then you will not take association. That's the whole point there. That's how illusion works. You will also not go. We'll call you, Prabhuji, there's a house program. I don't feel like coming. You'll not come. So, what to do? What's the first answer? So, Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, enthusiasm comes from endeavoring with intelligence. Enthusiasm comes from intelligence. Prabhupada says in Nectar, isn't it? Prabhupada says, intelligence is a root cause of enthusiasm. And you see in this material world, it's like that only. It was just like when I joined MBBS, we had a subject, anatomy. You know anatomy? Like body, you cut bodies and you see all the organs. It's a very difficult subject and people are not really enthusiastic. Now, what happened was, I also got confused. Median, lateral, and it's very confusing anatomy. No, people fail. And then people get depressed because they can't understand anything, you see. So, but then some of our friends, we thought, okay, let's read Gray's Anatomy. There's a book, Gray's Anatomy. It's a thick book. And it explains the concepts. Why this nerve is going like that. Why there's arteries like that. Otherwise you have to cram. If artery is going like that, it's going like that. What's the reason? There's no reason. It's all cramming. Liver is here, it's here. There is no reason why liver is here. Why your heart is here? What's the reason? You have to cram. But Gray's Anatomy gives you a reason. From evolutionary concept of life, you see. So it gives reason and there's so many things and it makes anatomy very intelligible. And then we got interest. So we could understand things and we got interest. It's with everything. Am I right? When you start understanding, you get enthusiasm. If you don't understand, you say, okay, I'll leave it. If we want to operate this phone, if we don't know how to operate, come on, Prabhuji, take it. If we know how to operate, then you are sucked up. Then you start seeing its functions and this and exploring it. So intelligence is a door to devotion. That's the whole point. Once you start understanding devotion, then there's no limit to enthusiasm because you start exploring. You start exploring. That's why Prabhupada says enthusiasm comes from intelligence. Basically, association of devotees gives enthusiasm because there is exchange of intelligent thoughts. Am I right? Otherwise, how can you get enthusiasm by association? Association is exchange of ideas. Am I right? So if you meet enthusiastic devotees, they will tell you some things and then you will get enthusiastic. Okay, good. So intelligence is the root cause of enthusiasm. So And how to become intelligent? By reading books or by hearing lectures, taking knowledge. You need knowledge. And that is why it is said knowledge and renunciation are associates of devotion. Sangha Siddha? Jnana Vairagya. Janyati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chatat Ahitam. So, knowledge, or you can say devotion is like a bird, and knowledge and renunciation are the wings. So, bird need wings to fly. That's example given in Yoga Vasishtha. A bird with wings. So, it requires, initial stages you require help of knowledge and renunciation. Later you don't require, because later that knowledge goes into your blood, everything is clear and you are completely detached. So you don't need, initially you need help, am I right? So, okay, enthusiasm. So association of devotees can be one answer, but the first answer is intelligence and knowledge. That is what Prabhupada always said, hear devotees, go and hear. If you can't read, keep on hearing. If you can't read, keep on hearing. Anywhere if you get some opportunity to hear Krishna Katha. Bhaktivedanta was very, very picky on that. I mean to say, our process is Shravanam and Kirtanam. We hear, we do Kirtanam. Sometimes many acharyas, they say, more important is Shravanam than Kirtanam, from one perspective. What is more important, hearing or chanting? Okay. From one perspective, hearing, from another perspective, chanting. Because if you hear and if you don't chant, that's also crazy. But if you chant and you don't hear, you will not be able to chant. Because you will not be enthusiastic. And you will be chanting mechanically. It will keep on going. So, okay, so that's enthusiasm, fine. So, if you are enthusiastic, anytime if you feel low, what you should do? If you are low, what you should do? You feel low in devotion?
You should try to appeal to the intelligence through by reading books.
Yeah, read books and try to understand logic, and then you will come up. Because if you are feeling low, if you try to chant, you will not be able to chant. You are feeling low, your mind will go here and there. So better read books and appeal to logic, and then it will pick you up. At least most of the people will work like that. Okay, next, if you are enthusiastic, then what happens?
Sorry to bring it back. With regard to the chanting part, due to our day-to-day issues or whatever, I normally feel low, and whenever I do at least 2 rounds of chanting, I feel better.
Okay, so you do that. You do that.
So I feel that difference in my thought.
So okay, yeah, you should do like that.
But just like since couple weeks, I'm just observing myself. Even if after doing the chanting for 2 rounds, I don't feel I'm back to normal.
So then you have to assist by reading. That's the whole point. That's where you're lacking. To assist by reading, because reading will make you enthusiastic. With enthusiasm, when you chant, it'll bring more enthusiasm. Then you can go up from certain level. There's a limit. When you go beyond that, then it takes on itself. So read something. Okay, so that's enthusiasm. So if you're enthusiastic, if you're always enthusiastic, then what happens? Then 𝗦liche, then you become determined. Am I right? Day after day you're enthusiastic, and in spite of, you see, as a devotees, we will have problems, and we will also, we'll also sometimes fall down in the sense the mind will speak nonsense. We had bad habits. Everybody has. We might break some rules. We might not get a Mangal Arati, for example. Sometimes, okay. Sometimes there is a fallback. But Krishna, what he says? Krishna says, nevertheless, keep on going. Don't stop. Because you know what illusion will do? Maya works in very different ways. If you are very enthusiastic in devotion, what Maya will do? Maya will try to stop you. Her whole function is to stop you. So she has some tactics. And there is a protocol of Maya. There is a protocol. If you understand that, then you can defeat her. So, and what's the protocol? If you are enthusiastic, then what Maya will do? She will try to disturb you. Either she will make you sick, or she will create disturbances around you, or through some other people she'll say you're doing wrong, and this and that. So she'll try to do so that you become low, and then you leave enthusiasm, and then you're gone. But if still you're continuing, and you are reading books and you're associating with devotees, you say, no problem, I have sickness, I have this problem, that problem, anybody is saying anything, I'll do my stuff, I'll do my chanting and reading, okay. So then what it will do is, it will say, okay, fine, this is gone, first protocol is gone. The second thing what it will do is, it will start, let's say she is a female. So what she's going to do is, now she can't disturb you, now what to do? Okay, you tell me, what's the next in protocol? What she's going to do to destroy your enthusiasm? There's a protocol for that. She's going to do something to deviate you from the path of devotion. She's going to do something there. She will actually, she will produce a guilt in you. When you do something wrong in devotion, she will say, oh, you should not have done that. This is wrong, this is sinful. And you should not think like that. It's such a blasphemy against God. You see the point? You're doing offense against God. And that's an offense, of course. If you're not following something, that creates an offense. Suppose Krishna says, suppose you have taken a vow of chanting 2 rounds, and you don't chant sometimes. Then Maya will say, oh, actually you weren't chanting 2 rounds. That's very bad. You're doing offense against Krishna. And that's truth. So you'll start feeling guilty. So Maya will say, yes, you should feel guilty for that. And that's not bad, isn't it? You should feel guilty for something wrong. But she will create so much guilt that you will lose enthusiasm. That's what she'll do. You can't sit, you need backrest. You can sit behind, that's okay.
Yeah, after some time.
I'm seeing you, so you have little unrest, so you can take rest.
No, good, thank you.
Okay, so that's how it goes. You see, that's what it happens. So many devotees in our movement, they fell down because of that. Because to human is to err. You know this? We will do faults. We will have faults. We will fall back. We have problems. Sometimes we might miss something. Sometimes we might break regulations. But then, that's why Krishna says to Uddhav, if you do something wrong, you should have guilt, but you should not have so much guilt that you destroy your enthusiasm. And that Maya will try to do. And she will say, I'm your friend, You should feel guilty, and he's God. You can't violate his orders. And then when you feel guilty, she says, yeah, this is good sentiment. And then you're gone. You're depressed. And I've seen many devotees who become really depressed when they break rules and this and that. And you see, that's why many brahmacharis, celibates, they marry because of that. They are celibates for many years. And after many years, then, you see, to control mind, it's not easy. It's not, frankly, I tell you. So something they are thinking, this world is full of complexities and so much bad stuff. It's corrupted. So there's something think wrong and things, and then sometimes, then they start feeling low. Oh my God, we are celibates and we are thinking like this, low, and the whole enthusiasm is gone, and they say, better, forget it, better marry. You see, his vow of celibacy is gone. So that's the second protocol. She'll do like that. She'll try to produce guilt of your sin and try to get rid of your enthusiasm. So Krishna says, Anytime you do something wrong, feel the guilt, but nevertheless, immediately come back and be enthusiastic. Because Krishna says, 𝗙𝗂𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀 𝗪𝗲𝗪𝗔 𝗪 𝗪 I will bring him back, no problem. Don't, keep on running. That's the whole point. You can't stop. That's the point there. Because there's something behind you. That's the whole point. So there was a movie, when I was a kid, I saw The Nightmare of Elm Street. You know that? You have seen that?
Elm Street.
Elm Street.
Horror movie. Yes.
Horror movie, Nightmare of Elm Street. It was very famous. So when I came to America, all these streets, it's like that, no?
We're talking the same thing will come.
Yeah. So I was seeing streets and so I was remembering that Nightmare of Elm Street. And there was and I saw this one Elm Street also somewhere in America. It's Elm Street. Yeah.
Very common.
So I came and I saw, that's why that movie's name is Elm Street. I couldn't figure out in my child why Nightmare of Elm Street, what is Elm Street, and in America I came to know. So in that there was a ghost, a scary person, and he was behind that person, on the street, and that. I mean to say that I'm not going in the movie, but the point is when the person sleeps in the dream, he will find himself in Elm Street, and on the Elm Street there's a ghost, and he's running behind, and he's running, So he doesn't. I mean to say he doesn't have time to stop. Am I right? If he stops, he's dead, because that person will catch him. He's dead, and he has nails, and he just rips off. That's all in the sleep, and he's dead. In reality, he's dead. In the sleep, he kills him, but in reality, he's dead. That was the whole plot there. So you can't do anything. Or if a lion is behind you, what do? Will you stop?
No.
Will you see behind? You not even see behind. If you see behind, you're dead. No matter how much depressed you are feeling, you'll keep on running. Will you stop if you're feeling depressed? You can't stop. You have to maintain your enthusiasm. Am I right? Yeah. To run. That's how devotion is. Maya is behind us. Death is behind us. No matter how much depressed, whatever happens in your life, how much sinful, how much guilt, keep on running. Otherwise, she'll catch you. Once she catches you, you're gone. You're dead. So just lift yourself up again. That's also, you know what, and one very nice way to become enthusiastic, to remain enthusiastic, you know how, you know why we become depressed? Because we start thinking of ourselves. Oh, we are guilty, I am so sinful, this, I. But the whole point is, if you think about God, if you think about Krishna, if you leave devotion, he will be depressed, am I right? You think from his perspective, he'll say, come on, He's leaving devotion, he's not chanting, he's not doing what I'm saying. He can't do, that's another thing, but he will not do any further, that's another thing. He's become so depressed, and this will give pain to Krishna. That's why devotee is super enthusiastic. I mean to say, whatever happens, forget. I mean to say, I have bad habits, I break rules and whatever. Sometimes out of habit, let's continue forward. Otherwise, it will give pain to Krishna. We can become depressed, but we should not make our master depressed. Am I right? That's how it goes. Oh, actually, why I'm remembering movies, but it's a good bit, because if people have seen all the same page. But there was a movie in Hindi, Anand.
Anand, Rajesh Khanna.
She doesn't know, she's South Indian. You don't, Yeah. There's a movie, Anand, you know? How do you know?
Rajesh Khanna.
Okay.
Mumbai.
Mumbai.
Amitabh Bachchan's debut movie.
Amitabh Bachchan, Rajesh Khanna.
Rajesh Khanna and Amitabh Bachchan.
So in that movie, that person, Rajesh Khanna, he had cancer. But he never let anybody know that he has cancer, and he was very happy, and that was the whole point. Anand is happy, and he was depressed in himself because he had cancer, but He didn't really express his depression or anything, and rather he did the opposite. He made everybody happy. You see, that's the whole point. You might be depressed or whatever, but because of you, Krishna should not be depressed. Make sense? That's why we are always enthusiastic. Okay, so that's what about enthusiasm. So if you're enthusiastic, if you keep remaining enthusiastic, then slowly you become 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗃. Then you develop determination. Because if you are enthusiastic, you keep on going enthusiastically, things becoming more clear. Am I right? Enthusiastically hearing, enthusiastically chanting, your subject matter becomes clear, your goal becomes clear, and when things become clear, then you're determined. I will attain God in this life. Whatever happens, I must attain Krishna in this life. At least I will give my best try till my death.
Before that.
Of course, before that.
Because at that time we don't know what is going on.
Yeah, so you give your best try.
Yeah.
So you become determined then, isn't it? You become determined. So that's the next thing in devotion. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗃, that's there in the verse. Determination. So determination is born of enthusiasm, continuous enthusiasm, not fluctuating. Remember that. Should be continuous, day after day. You're following the same thing. Then slowly, it's like, I mean to say, it's almost like bodybuilding. Sometimes you go to gym, 1 week you don't go, then 1 week you go. Will you develop body and muscles? Nothing will happen. You have to go daily. That instructor will say, you have to come daily, then you develop muscles. So it's on daily basis. So continuous enthusiasm produces determination. And you know what is determination? Determination is that, I think Vishwanath Thakur, Prabhupada defines determination. Determination means your goal becomes clear. Because you're enthusiastic, you explore the subject, there's no doubts, everything is clear, way is clear, goal is clear, you understand, and you have determination. That's how it goes. So, then what happens? So when you are determined, actually determination is a quality where you can't be confused. Enthusiasm solves all your doubts. Alright? If you're enthusiastic, you keep on listening and chanting, and by listening and chanting, all your doubts are solved. Vidyate hridaya granthi chhidyante sarva samshaya. All your doubts are solved. By hearing, intellectual doubts are solved. Doubts due to ignorance. And by chanting, what do we say? Those doubts are solved which cannot be solved by logic.
Right.
Some doubts cannot be solved by logic, they are beyond logic. There are, basically there are 3 kinds of doubts. One doubt is produced out of ignorance. You don't know something and you have doubt. Another doubt is produced out of lack of faith. Lack of faith. So okay, he is speaking, but we don't have faith whether it will work like that or not. So that's doubt. Hey, what they are doing here? Prahlad, go and play. Go up. Okay, so another kind of doubt is due to lack of faith. We don't really have faith on what they are saying is correct. It's correct, but we don't have faith, so it doesn't work. And the third kind of doubt is lack of maturity. Some things comes with time. Like for example, I'll tell you. For example, let's tell, what's that? If, now this kind of doubt, you know you're not this body, am I right? But still we have doubt. What's happening? Why they have come down? What happened suddenly? Anyway, that's okay. She's going somewhere? Huh? Okay. So there are three kinds of doubts. So this kind of doubt, I am not this body, I am soul, that doubt cannot be solved by intellectual endeavor. Am I right? It takes time. Or maybe holy name is God himself. God's name is God himself. It takes time. You can't, there is no intellectual thing in that. So these three kinds of doubts. So Shravanam will handle, by hearing you get free of this doubt, lack of knowledge. Hearing you get knowledge, so those doubts are gone. By hearing, continuous hearing, you develop faith, so you accept things. And by Kirtanam, you free your doubts, you free yourself of doubts which cannot be handled by intelligence. If you keep on chanting, then you will realize you are not this body. Okay. So enthusiasm, if you are enthusiastically hearing and chanting, your all doubts are solved. And doubts are solved, your goal is clear. When your goal is clear, then you become determined. That's how it goes. 𝗦liche. And then when you're determined, when you keep on being determined, when your determination grows day after day, you're convinced that in this material world, you are born, I mean to say, there's just one thing to do, that is to attain Krishna. Nothing else is of any value. Everything is waste of time. Except God and attaining God, everything is waste of time. So if you're convinced, after some time you're convinced, then slowly another virtue comes. That is 𝗪𝗂𝗪𝗔 𝗪𝗔. You get patience. Because now you understand that, well, I have to attain Krishna and that's what matters. Everything else doesn't matter. Everything else you have to do because you have to keep your body alive. Am I right? You have to work, whatever you're doing, it's for body. So what to do then? You need patience. It takes time. You understand it takes time. So with enthusiasm, you also have to have patience. Patience. Nothing will happen in one day. It's not going to happen. In one day, you will not become sense controlled. One day means 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Doesn't happen. It takes time. 5 years, 6 years, 7, 10, 12, 14, 15, 20. It takes time for senses to become controlled, for mind to get peaceful, balanced, provided you have enthusiasm and determination. Enthusiastically hearing and doing kirtanam and determination, then you develop this virtue of patience. Okay, yes, it takes time. Let me be a marathon runner and not a 100 meter sprint. You see that 100 meter sprint? Let's go steadily and safely, but keep on going. So you understand that. You understand the value of patience. You see, most of the new devotees, they are enthusiastic, but they're impatient. Am I right? They're very enthusiastic, but they're impatient. Okay, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this, we'll do that. And everybody's messed up. But that's how it goes. You see, I'll tell you one thing. If you want to achieve something in this world, do less, but do it continuously. Because if you do more, you will not be able to do anything. And that's a very big secret. So it is said, so there is one proverb, and a Chinese proverb, and they say, if you want to achieve something, do nothing. And there's a sense in that. I mean, you have to understand that. The sense is, if you want to do something, do nothing means you spend most of your time in planning. Don't do anything. Spend most of your time in planning and then just do it. Then it will happen. Because if you keep on doing one after another, this, then you don't have time for thinking. And then nothing happens. And that is why you see people who, I mean to say, what about Einstein? He came up with the equation E is equal to 𝗪𝐶². Am I right? After how many years? 50 years he thought about it. And then he came up with one equation. His whole career.
Yeah.
But that one equation changed the world. That's how it happens. Prabhupada, 30 years he achieved nothing. If you If you see from external, no preaching, nobody is there, nothing. But he was planning, he was writing his books, he was writing Bhagavatam, he was foreseeing, I will go to America, he was preparing himself. Suddenly he goes and bang. So that's what is patience. New devotees are enthusiastic but they don't have patience. That means new devotees are enthusiastic, they do things, but they don't plan it out. They don't spend time in thinking. So they are disturbed, everybody is disturbed. No, do less, but do it concretely. That will help you. I mean to say, I am doing projects and we have understood. When I was new, I used to think I'll do this, I'll do that, do this, that. And in the process, you are not able to do anything properly. It becomes crazy situation. And people with you, they are also disturbed. But now we understood, do less, but do it properly. That's a very sane advice. So that's patience. You see what's patience? So you develop patience slowly. So daily you chant little, you read little. You see the point? It's not that one day you read, 8 hours. Okay, today 4 hours. No. You don't do that. Chant little, read little, hear some kirtan if you want to hear for some time, and then think, plan something about Krishna. That's all. And do your stuff, normal stuff. That's how it goes. So that's patience. Okay, so utsaha, nishchay and dhyarya. You have to understand these three things. And if you keep on doing this, then what happens is, what's after that? Utsaha, nishchay, dhyarya, tat karma pravartanat. So, tat karma pravartanat means if you enthusiasm, if you're determined, if you're patiently keep on going, what happens is tat karma pravartanat. Then you develop intelligence that I should follow wise people. Am I right? You see, if you keep on following the process, what happens is you start understanding things. When you start understanding things, then you have a need of a guide. People who don't understand things, they don't accept a guide. I mean to say, it's ulta. People think because I understand things, that's why I will not need a guide. And people, okay, you don't understand something, so you need a guide. But it's not like that. People who don't understand anything, they feel, I don't need a guide. You know why? It's contradictory.
They don't even understand that they don't understand.
Yeah, that's the whole point there. Because they don't understand, That's the whole point. They don't understand the depth of the subject. So they don't feel the need for a guide. They think I can do myself. Okay, it's simple. It's okay, to chant. And it's birth at disease, old age. That's pretty cool. Birth at disease, old age, what's up? That we read it. You're stuck up in birth at disease, old age. You have to chant and honor prasad, and then everything will happen. So why do you want to hear lectures? For what? I know things. And we can do it, but that's the whole point. They don't even understand the depth of the subject, that externally it seems easy, but there are so many principles working behind. It's not easy. So if you go to a lawn, you see lawn tennis? Okay, forget lawn tennis. Let's take, what do we take? Chess. Now, if you see a chess champion playing, okay, have you seen chess playing? Have you seen competitions?
Yeah.
They have a watch and they move very fast. You have seen?
Yeah.
They move very fast. He says, and he's at timing, and he says again timing, again. And it seems that they're not thinking. You go on YouTube, you see chess championship, international chess championship. They have a timing also. So how can they do so fast? I mean to say, they are playing chess. Chess needs thinking. How can you do that? How?
Planning their moves.
How is that? Because you see the point, they have practiced a lot. Am I right? They practiced a lot. Externally, it seems very simple. And you might think, I'll also do it. What is it? Okay, give me chess. Nothing will happen. It seems simple, you need to know some moves, how pawn moves, how king moves, how queen moves, and you can play, but you'll not be able to do anything. So that's how externally it seems very simple, chanting, prasad, but when you do it, process is easy, application is difficult. That's the whole point. So so when you start understanding subject and you're practicing it, then you feel the need of some guide. I need a guide to increase my speed. Am I right? If you want to become a champion, if you're practicing chess, then you understand, my God, it's difficult. I was thinking it's easy, but it's difficult. And then you so say, I need a teacher. I can't. I need a coach. Then you feel a need of coach. If you're simply following a tournament, if you're simply seeing a tournament, and if you're playing sometimes and you're not playing sometimes, then okay, then why do you need a coach? What's the point there? So that's the whole point. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀 pravartana. People who are enthusiastically following the process, who are determined, who are patiently applying that process in their life, they feel the need of association, basically association of devotee, association of wise people. They feel the need to learn things. That is why the more you advance, the more you will feel the need of association. The less you advanced, the less you feel the need of association. So that is why you see new people, we have to call them on phone. Please Prabhuji, come on house program. Please come. Because they don't understand that it's important to come and hear. But people who have spent time in Krishna consciousness, they will run and go and, I have to hear, I have to attend the program. New devotees, you have to convince them, and they will say, Prabhuji, we have this problem, that problem, that problem. They don't understand there's a deeper problem, that they don't understand God and they need guidance.
They're serious, they do.
Yeah.
Become serious.
Yeah, if the seriousness means 𝗪𝗂𝗪𝗲. That's how they come. Otherwise you keep on, isn't it? Keep on calling and then things. Okay, so that's the point. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀 pravartana. And when you start following wise people, wise devotees, you go and learn and hear and keep on learning more and more and more. Then what happens is, what's after that? Sangatyagat. Then what happens is, you also want to protect your devotion. See, you're following advice and your devotion is increasing day by day. And then what happens is, your creeper of devotion grows. It grows. And then you want to protect it. Then actually you safeguard yourself. You don't want to take bad association which will spoil your mind, just like you were telling me. So somebody invited Prabhu in his party. And they were like, that party was like some friend or something, So they were eating meat and drinking wine. So he didn't go. They were like, friend, very near friend.
Yeah.
You were telling, that he went in the park. He went and in the from parking he came back. What I'll do here, it's such a bad association. We all feel like that, isn't it? We don't feel like going somewhere where our devotion is destroyed and people are doing complete crazy things. Why should we go there? Our mind gets contaminated and it's so difficult to bring ourselves back. So then you really start avoiding things which will destroy your devotion. So everything started with what? Utsaha, enthusiasm. That will show you the way. Enthusiasm will show you the way. So Sangatyagat, you start avoiding association of materialistic people. Association means, in job you are meeting people, but you don't take the ideas. And otherwise, if you are free, you don't want to associate with people who are non-devotees. We don't really want to associate. We don't want to associate with wrong ideas and things which give us wrong ideas. Media, I was talking yesterday. We don't see wrong stuff on television, on internet. We don't see news, so many news. We don't see WhatsApp, we don't see Facebook, complete crap. So much news, isn't it? So much news and absolutely irrelevant. and then you have to think something. Your mind starts thinking. So you're very choosy. Einstein, he even didn't learn phone numbers. He even didn't memorize phone numbers. At that time, there's no cell phone, by the way. People used to memorize phone numbers. Am I right? In our age also, we memorized. Somebody asked, do you remember your phone number? He said, I don't remember my phone number. That's what happened. He said, I don't want to waste my memory in remembering something which is absolutely unnecessarily. I wrote it and you can see. That's now you might say, why he's acting like that. He's cranky. But he's not mad actually. Why he's like that? Because he has a higher goal. Am I right? He has equations in his mind and he wants to spend time in equations rather than he has to put a stupid number in his mind. So he feels a need of that. We might say, oh, why Einstein is doing like that? He's a good physicist, but he was mad a little. He can't even remember his phone number. But at his level, he's thinking in a very different thought. So it's like us, like devotion. If you become serious in devotion, if you start getting knowledge, then you start removing irrelevant things from your life. That is Sanga Tyagat. So association of materialists, association of those who are involved with wrong activities, you don't want to talk with them. Talk to the needful, that's all. Finish. Don't talk much. Talk with devotees. That's good. And that's a nice thing. Make friends with them. Sanga Tyagat, and then what? And when you avoid bad association and you're in association of good devotees, then slowly what happens is sato vritte. And you start developing good qualities. Satogun, sato vritte. Krishna gives you a gift of divine qualities. You start developing those qualities which are unimaginable for an ordinary man. That are divine qualities. That is for ordinary man, it's unimaginable how a devotee acts. A devotee can, that's what I was telling yesterday, a devotee can forgive a person who has come to kill him. This quality is unimaginable. Am I right? It's unimaginable for people who are not devotee. A devotee is extremely tolerant, gets tolerance. If he doesn't get food, if he doesn't get anything, nobody is paying attention to him, no problem, he tolerates. If he's criticized day in and day out, he tolerates. Now these kind of qualities, you see materialist people, they can't imagine how this person is doing like this. That's why people respect saints, am I right? Saints develop those qualities which are not found in ordinary man. Krishna says to Uddhav, my devotees, I'll make my devotees look like gods in this world. And that is why Brahmanas, one of the name of Brahmana is Bhusurgana. You know this is a technical name. Brahmanas, people, devotees of God are called Bhusurgana. Bhusurgana means Bhu means earth, Sura means God, Gana means people. Krishna will make sure that my devotees will appear as gods to ordinary man. They will conquer their lust. It's unimaginable for ordinary man. I mean to say, how my mother, my parents, I left my house and then I met them after 7 years. I didn't meet them for 7 years. I didn't talk to them. So I just left. So after 7 years I met them. At that time there was no email also, by the way, no email. So anyway, it was okay. I didn't call them. So after 7 years I met, and then they were happy, of course, they were happy. So I went to the house. So my mother especially, she paid obeisances to me.
Wow.
I told, what's happening? Why are you doing like that? So she says, you know what, you're my son, but we respect you. I told, why? Because she said, you're doing something which we cannot even think to do. That is, you're controlling your senses. That's impossible. She says, this force of senses is impossible to control, and we can't even imagine that. That's where we are paying respect to you. And it's like that, isn't it? So for normal people, saints are, Krishna will make sure that they will develop such kind of qualities. Krishna says to Uddhav, even in dreams, Non-devotees cannot imagine what my devotee is experiencing. Even in dreams they cannot imagine. So he gives them 𝗙𝗶𝗪𝗀𝗃, all good qualities. So forgiveness, tolerance, compassion, what? Simplicity. Simplicity means simply following the process. That's how it goes. In heart they are simple. Externally they might behave diplomatically for the benefit of people, but in heart they are simple. They are very open with God. What they think, they know God knows, and they think what they think. So like that. Was that verse in Bhagavad Gita? Satyam, what's that?
Abhayam sattva samshuddhi.
Yeah, Abhayam sattva samshuddhir.
Jnana yoga
Jnana vyavasthita.
anandamaste
Yeah. So all these good qualities. Sacrifice. Devotees can do sacrifice for others. Devotees can die for others. Prabhupada, that actually when Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, so actually Prabhupada had a cook. I think Jamna Mataji, she used to cook for Prabhupada. She used to cook, and one more devotee, they were like traveling. So they used to cook, and Prabhupada always used to scold them. Scold her specially, that you have not prepared nicely this roti and this dal, and she was like, every time she used to weep. So she was thinking, what's happening? So when Prabhupada was, so one person, in Vrindavan, his godbrother, they came to meet him, and Prabhupada was telling, you see, this girl who's cooking for me, I always scold her, but I scold her so that she becomes perfect in service of God. Because if she does some mistake for God, then that will be bad, I mean to say, because he's perfect. So I'm trying to make her perfect. And then Prabhupada told her, so she was listening, he was just outside. When Prabhupada told her, but I love her so much that I can die for her. And she was, that's how it went. And Prabhupada was not that he was saying, he was doing that. He was not sleeping, he was translating books, he was managing people at age of 80 years. He was like so old person. He was talking to people, he was helping people, and he got kidney problems, heart problems, isn't it? He risked his life for the benefit of people. That's a devotee. Sacrifice. They can sacrifice. They can go to such extent. There's so many saints who actually, Bhaktivedanta Swami Thakur, Prabhupada's guru, to do one house program. At that time, you remember in Bengal, there is no conveyance. And in Bengal, at that time, if you want to travel, there were rickshaws. Rickshaw, you know rickshaw, no? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you can't travel by rickshaws because in Bengal there are so many rivers. So you have to basically walk. You have to walk, then catch a boat, then walk, then catch a boat, then walk, then catch a boat. If you have gone to Bengal, there are rivers. So they have to walk for one house program. Bhaktivedanta used to walk for 10, 12, 15 kilometers to do one house program. People used to say, what's happening? He says, no. Jivana hetur jahar tahar prachar. Wherever there is life, there is preaching. He said that. And I must do it. And he got really sick. But he said, who cares for this body? This body is meant to sacrifice for the benefit of others. Now, ordinary man cannot think like that. Am I right? Ordinary man is just thinking about himself. His life, his body, his home, his children, his bank, his that. That's all. That's all his life is all about. That's why Krishna says, if you come to me, you will be as gods to ordinary man. You will become like that. So that's 𝗙𝗪𝗪𝗀. But that's come last. If you practice all of them, 𝗦liche 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗃 tat-tat-karma-pravartanat, sangat, what's that? Sangatyagat. Then if you practice, then you develop good qualities. When you develop good qualities, that means Krishna is reciprocating with you. If you come in contact with God, because God is all good, you become good. If you come in contact with a terrorist, you become terrorist. If you come in contact with a thief, you become thief. If you associate with envious people, you become envious. If you associate with God because He is all good, you become all good. That is a sign. If you are doing devotion and you are not developing good qualities, that means you are not coming in contact with God. You are not in touch with God. It's just simply following the process. So that's the whole point. So if you practice this verse, your life becomes perfect. That's all. Okay, anybody wants to ask anything, I'll stop here. It's already 1 hour stuff. Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have one question. Like you said, Maya will sometimes make us feel guilty.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't complete the protocol there of illusion. So first Maya will try to disturb you, either through people by putting doubts, or discourage you to do devotion, or by making you sick. So you'll go so low, you'll disturb you, leave devotion. If you still keep on going, then she will, of course, if you still keep on going, you will have some faults, you will do some error somewhere. So she will put guilt in you. That, see, you are doing something wrong, and this, you should not do this wrong, and this is seriously wrong. You will become so depressed, you will leave devotion. And if still you keep on going, okay, I'll not become depressed, let's forget it. Then what she'll do is, then she has another thing. Then what she'll do? Then she'll say, you're such a nice devotee. You never become depressed, you keep on going, and there's no devotee like you. And then you develop pride. And then you're gone. And you're finished. That's the third thing in protocol. And if still, if you're cautious and if you don't develop pride, and if you save yourself, then what she does? She'll not leave you. She has a protocol. And if you are still humble, you can use her. No, whatever I'm doing, it's due to mercy of my Guru and Krishna. It's not my credit. So you're humble, you maintain your humbleness, you act humbly. So then what happens? And then what she does? Huh? She never leaves us. She didn't even leave Haridas Thakur to talk about you or me. She'll never leave us. Even till last breath, she will say, forget Krishna. She'll not leave us. So what she's going to do now? Huh? Well, okay, this is a homework. You think what she's going to do. She's going to do something. But you should know her protocol. Otherwise, you'll be in a tough time. That's why I told you, know your enemy. That's what it said. Know your enemy properly, what she's doing.
She'll convince that you are God.
वो तो चलो, you're a good devotee. Yeah. That's अभी तो बहुत आगे है वो तो. The last snare of Maya, no? There's something. Okay, you think about that. You make a list what she's going to do. But she'll do something, and she has many things to confuse you. You can really become confused.
She'll make us forget everything about Krishna.
No.
She knows what's there in the core of the heart.
Yeah, she will, what next she might do? She might then she will start working through devotees. She was suggesting, but now she will start working through devotees. Now she will not work on you, she will work on people around you. And she will inspire them in such a way so that they will always praise you. And you'll be surrounded by people who are with you, with devotees, and you see, these are my 9 devotees, they are with me. And then what happens is, then you slowly become attached to those people and attached to your position, and again you are in a big problem. But you're thinking everything is nice because I'm in a solid association and it's good. It becomes very confusing after some time. That's why you should have good association and proper knowledge so that you can exactly understand what's happening. It might happen like that. So yeah, you'll not be able to understand things. She'll give you mercy. If that doesn't work, she will start giving you bliss in devotion. What do you do? If that nothing works, then she will give bliss you. She will give you bliss in devotion. She will start giving good qualities. So you will feel God is merciful, but actually you don't have contact with God. She is doing something.
So इतना सारा करेंगे तो आप लोग तो आगे हो, पर हम लोगों का क्या होगा? मेरे जैसे लोगों का क्या होगा?
I don't know. It's like that. You see, she is working by the same time. That is why it is said in 𝗙𝗪𝗪 Sankirtanam, be together and read books, take knowledge, prepare yourself. If you're serious, if you prepare, Krishna is always there. Krishna is also there. It's not that she is working.
Yeah.
If you are sincere, if you are preparing yourself, he is also there on your side, and he will keep on guiding, and he will take you through that maze. But if you are not sincere, then we lost. That's all. But he will not let you lose your courage. He is there on your side. But we should have faith, and we should do what he says. That's what he says. You do what I am saying and I'll take care of everything. But you do carefully. You see, I'll tell you one thing. This Moses, you know Moses? Judaism?
Yeah.
Moses. So God said to him, and so I mean to say, he was so he led 60,000 people from the captivity of Romans, and I mean to say these people were slaves of Rome. So he came, and then he actually fought with the emperor, and he rescued them, and God told, okay, you go to desert. So they were in desert. In Arabia, there was no water. People were very thirsty. So he went, and then 60,000 people with him. They were thirsty in desert. So he prayed to God, God, what to do? God said, okay, you go, and then on the mountain, you hit the stick. Hit a stick, and water will come out. And still that place is there. Still that place is there. You go, still water is there, spring of water. He hit that stick, and water didn't come out. And he hit it again, and then water came out. And then God's voice came. God said, angels, they said, you did offense. God said to hit once. Why did you hit twice? You should have waited for some time. You don't have faith in his words, and because of that, you will be punished now. And because of that, you will not enter the promised land. God told, there's a promised land I will give you. So he said, no, you can't enter the promised land. You're guilty of not following my orders. Now you see, that's the whole point. Willfully, we should not disobey his orders. By habit it can happen. Willfully you should not. That's what he wants. Try best to follow my orders. Rest I'll do. But don't break them. That's all. So Krishna is there. He will take us through this maze. That's all. We should. Okay, so if there's no question, we'll stop here. It's finished.
So Guruji,
Finish here.
you said like
You forgot, okay.
Maya prepared her. That was fast.
Evidence.
She will make us feel guilty.
Yeah.
Guruji, you spoke about 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, that we will be satisfied. Is there any connection?
Just, I don't know, just forget this now. You ask me tomorrow.
Okay.
It will complicate things. Okay, so anyway, please chant and keep on going. Life is short. We don't have time. That's all. And before that, we don't become perfect. It is said, Prabhu, Sivanand Prabhu, who is that?
Why he's alone at home.
Oh, it's important to talk to him or what? Okay, I mean, that's just finishing. So, he said, there's a saying in Bible, become perfect like your Father in heaven. That's what we have to become perfect. We know we have so many faults. We know we are full of sins and there are problems, but we have full faith in Lord Krishna, am I right? And the process, we have hope, and this will work. So keep on going, and it's going to work. And many saints have come. I mean, we are not the first person born on earth who is following the process and who is trying to achieve God. There's so many saints who have come, males and females both, and who have achieved God, who have put their experiences, and they have followed the same thing. It can happen with us also. That's all. Finish. So keep working. That's how that goes. Okay, so I'll stop there. Thank you very much. I'll just, for these people,
Yeah.
I'll have to say something, I have to repeat this. There are some books I've written. This is Mighty Efforts. Well, actually, this is a new book. If anybody wants, they can have. I mean to say, whatever I'm talking, it's there in this. I put it there. I'll give you. So I put it there in this book because I know it has to be read again and again, again and again. It doesn't come so easily. I read myself also, by the way, again and again. I have to revise myself. So this is small but mighty efforts. That's what I was talking about. And there's a book of Crazy Ideas. It is for crazy people. People have so many stupid ideas. So you have to counter them. For preaching, you have to counter them. You have to tell them. Many people ask us, our relatives ask, why you're doing this, why you're chanting, why are you vegetarian, why this and that, why only Krishna. So all these questions are there, and this is one book, Science Fails to Explain Life. If you want to see how science has failed to explain life and what's alternative explanation of life, that's this book all about. And where's my CD? I'll just talk. Actually, she asked from YouTube yesterday, Lavanya Mataji. Oh.
No, she had sent a mix.
But how did she know?
No, she knows you are here.
Oh, that's why. But this is going live. I think I should speak there. That's a good idea. Okay, so I have this one CD here, one pen drive, which is 400 hours, 600 hours of lectures of English. You can put in your car, keep on hearing these lectures. I've explained everything nicely. The more you hear, the more you, isn't it? 𝗙𝗲 comes from intelligence. Keep in your house, keep on hearing, and then these are my mail. You can contact me, and then you can ask me questions. We can share, and that's all. If anybody wants these books and pen drive, most welcome. And thank you very much. Hare Krishna. 𝗙 Prabhupada ki
Jai. His Grace Keshav Anand ki.
This worked properly, huh? This time. Oh, okay, great. Hare Krishna. It saves itself. Okay. Thank you.